What's going on, everybody? This is the Absolute Answer. Nick Cutler, personal trainer, professional wrestler, amateur bodybuilder, OnlyFans model, Team Gaspari athlete, Carnival Cruise connoisseur. I say that, but I can't type it out because I don't know how to spell connoisseur, and I can't even get close enough where my phone will autocorrect it to just say connoisseur. But I like to say it because it sounds fancy. And as a Carnival Cruise connoisseur, I was so excited this morning to watch the live videos all over YouTube of the Carnival Mardi Gras finally making its way into United States waters and docking at the brand new cruise terminal in Port Canaveral in Orlando, Florida. Such good news for the cruise industry that has been shut down for over a year, and for a guy like me who goes on 1 to 2 cruises a year, and it's been over 2 years since I've been on a cruise now. My last cruise was April of 2019 on the Carnival Fantasy. May she rest in peace. So to see all this exciting cruise news, it just tickles me pink. Now, before I get into the actual bulk of the story and the reason why I'm doing the live video, yes, that's Austin St. John staring at you, and Jason David Frank too. But anyway, before I get into it, make sure you guys are following me on all forms of social media. That is Nick Cutler on Facebook, Cutler Coalition on Twitter, Absolute Answer on Instagram, NCUTLER8869 on Snapchat, merchandise at ProWrestlingTees.com/Cutler Coalition. Get your supplementation needs at Team Gaspari. I am Team Gaspari. Get your supplementation needs at GaspariNutrition.com using promo code NHarmon20 for 20% off. Or this weekend you can actually get buy 2 get 1 free. Promo code B2G1. You know, buy 2 get 1. I'll draw you guys a picture later. All right, let's get into the good shit. So, as Carnival Mardi Gras was being docked in Orlando, obviously Carnival Chairman Christine Duffy was present. And while she was doing an interview for, I think it was Good Morning America or maybe MSNBC, I'm not too sure which news show she was doing an interview for, but they asked her about vaccinations. Now, for those of you that aren't following things very closely, there are 2 different ways that a cruise line can go about resuming sailings. They can do a 98% vaccinated crew and a 95% vaccinated passenger list. And if they're able to do those 2 things, then they don't have to do any test sailings. They can just pick up and start sailing as soon as they receive their restricted sail certificate. And also, onboard restrictions are pretty much none. Obviously, still going to have the new air filtration systems, the new sanitation. The buffets are probably going to be set up slightly differently where you are being served and not serving yourself. But as far as masks and having to social distance, you don't have to do those on a vaccinated cruise. Or they can ignore the vaccination process and they can go through test sailings. And once they complete a test sailing, then they are able to resume restricted sailings once they receive that certificate. However, the health protocols with not requiring a vaccine are rather cumbersome. You still have to wear masks, still have to social distance. The CDC has given leeway to the cruise lines by providing rules with language that allows them to get around having to keep vaccinated passengers restricted, I guess you can say. One of the most recent rules that the CDC came out with is that the cruise lines, at their discretion, can designate vaccinated-only areas on the cruise ships, such as restaurants, bars, pool areas, so on and so forth, that's only accessible by vaccinated passengers, and therefore masks and social distancing are not required in these areas. But how are you going to get around that hurdle by knowing whether somebody's vaccinated or not vaccinated? Are you going to give people bracelets at the beginning of the cruise and marking them as far as whether they are or whether they aren't? From the cruise line standpoint, that would just be a logistical nightmare. So what are they going to do? Well, Royal Caribbean and Carnival Cruise Line have both kind of indicated that they don't really want to have to require vaccinations. And both of them are going to be doing test sailings. Norwegian, They don't really care. They said, no, we're doing the vaccinated only cruises. However, this morning during the interview, when asked about vaccinations, Christine Duffy said, look, we don't really want to require vaccinations, but we really don't think we're going to have any other choice, because we are not going to be able to provide the experience that our guests are expecting if we don't require vaccinations. I think that the reason why they're still going through the test sailings is because they can allow people on the cruise ship who aren't vaccinated by going through the test sailings. They don't have to meet that 95% minimum if they do the test sailings. But they can still require people to be vaccinated if you're able to be vaccinated after having done the test sailings. Where I think this comes in handy is they can still allow kids to be on board even if they're not vaccinated by going through the test cruises. And that's very, very important with Carnival Cruise Lines and with Royal Caribbean, because they sail with a lot of families. However, what is the cruise line going to do at that point? Are they going to allow underage kids to sail? Because right now, children under the age of 12 still aren't even able to be vaccinated. Are they just going to require them to have a negative test at the port before they're able to get onto the ship? And are they going to just assume that everybody's vaccinated at that point, and if you're not vaccinated, you're a child, so you still don't have to do the health protocols as far as wearing a mask and social distancing and so on and so forth? It's going to be very interesting watching these cruise lines open up and the types of protocols that they have to adhere to. Me personally, I don't think this is really going to make a whole lot of difference to me once I actually sail, because a lot of this is encumbered into the conditional sail order, and the conditional sail order expires on November 1st. At that point, I believe that the cruise lines are pretty much going to be governing themselves when it comes to their health protocols, and the CDC's control over them will kind of go away unless they extend it or whatever the case may be, which I don't really see them doing unless they have some sort of issue with the startup. With my cruise not being until December, a lot of this might all be a moot point. Don't get me wrong, I got vaccinated because of this, and if I have my way, I want to be on a vaccinated cruise too. I don't necessarily like the fact that the cruise lines are requiring vaccinations, but at the same point in time, if I have the option between choosing to go on a vaccinated cruise and not have to wear a mask and social distance, and going on an unvaccinated cruise and having to wear a mask and social distance, I'm going to go on a vaccinated cruise. I don't want my cruise experience disrupted. That might sound selfish, but that's just the way it is. So stay tuned, guys, and make sure you guys keep your eyes open. It's going to be interesting watching everything unfold. We are less than a month away from the very first cruise taking place in the United States waters since 2019, and I'm very excited to see it. Like me on all forms of social media. Hit me up in the direct messages for any information about my personal training and online coaching. And until next time, Hollywood Hogan and I will stay Cutlass strong.